Good morning, great morning. How are you? Thanks so much for joining us here on Daily Dive. It is about 8:08 in the morning, which means it's time to wake up. It's time to get ready for work. It's time to almost log in probably for morning. For many of you who happen to be working from home right now, we want to thank you guys so much for joining us again here on Daily Dive, where we dive into all of the latest and top trending topics of the day and of the morning. So right now we're going to bring in our very own Keitha Nelson and our very own Lou Turner. We're going to bring them in and let's see what it is. So hold on, give us like 1 second because I don't think you guys can hear me and I can't hear you guys right now.
I can hear you, Brooks. Can you hear me?
Oh, you can hear me? Okay,
yes,
okay,
yes,
excellent.
yes. I don't know if Lewis
is just looking at me.
Man, I can barely hear a word anything said. It's one of those things with technology. I'm dialed into my actual landline phone, Brooks. I'm trying to hear.
I just lost.
We're gonna try something different though. Yeah, how we doing, buddy?
I can't hear Lou, but I can hear
Brooks. Smile. Lou, when in doubt, just smile. Yeah, when in doubt, just smile. So Keitha, you can hear me.
I can hear you, not Lou. Okay.
Okay, all right. Well, that's great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the phone call up. So y'all just bear with us a little bit this morning. Want to make sure we don't run into too many issues. But you guys probably saw the headline. Pretty crazy. What do you think about ankle monitors and COVID-19? So let me kind of fill you in on this story that is, I would say, thankfully, not in Florida. And I'm sure many of you probably say the same thing, but we're taking it all the way to Kentucky. So imagine this. You're being exposed to COVID-19, being exposed or testing positive to COVID-19, and then being forced to wear a GPS ankle monitor. So that's like you're being put under house arrest. Well, that actually happens to be a thing out there, again, in Kentucky. This is not a Florida story. And this has really become their new norm. Lots of you guys talking about this. So supposedly judges have ordered people who have tested positive or are suspected of having the virus to self-isolate. But here's the problem. Many are ignoring the mandate and they're being placed on house arrest instead. Now, as you know, most places around the country are under stay-at-home orders or, shelter-in-place orders. Here in Duval County, we're under a safer at-home executive order, which means we shouldn't really be going out unless they're for essential things and essential needs. But we are asking you guys this morning, chime in about this. Is this whole ankle bracelet thing just a bit much? We want to hear from you guys. Be sure to weigh in the comments section, and we'll be sharing some of those comments online. Good morning to you, Gabriel. All right, so Lou, Keitha, you guys can hear me. What we think about this craziness is what I want to call it.
Pushing it too far. I mean, it's crazy. Craziness is a great way to put it. There are so many people already that think that our civil liberties are kind of being infringed, even some constitutional rights being infringed in so many different ways. And I get it, it's in the name of public health and you got to take extreme measures for it. But there's a lot of folks out there who are so nervous about what will this be a precedent setter for when it's all over? Will the government just be able to come in and take things? Now, that's on the fringes of conspiracy theory type things, but I kind of get it. So if you have the government trying to round people up, monitor them, that's, in my opinion, not what the USA is built on, for heaven's sakes. It's built on civil liberties, it's on freedom and individual rights and decision making. I think people should be able to make the correct decision, and if they continue to make the wrong decision despite orders of people, then cite them or even go so far as to arrest them because they're not following mandated laws. But when it comes to and then you're putting somebody's business out there, right? I mean,
yeah.
Secrets. I mean, you've got an ankle monitor on. Well, does that guy have an ankle monitor on because he didn't pay his child support or because he's got It is messed up.
Yeah, Lou, very great point. I think that's what it kind of boils down to. Some people saying that they're just stripping everybody's rights away by doing something like this. But I mean, you really are singling people out when you do that. Nobody wants to sit around here walking around with this virus, and not that you should really be out there walking anyway, but still though, it's just the fact that even if you don't test positive for this, and let's just say again, you were just exposed to it. So, you could be exposed and understand it. They're saying, well, look, there's probably a great chance that you could be carrying it. And that is true. But just think about it, just to be in the same room, not even knowing that, that person may have had it or something like that. And then you're stuck and now you are self-isolating again, which we're supposed to be doing. But they're throwing you a little ankle monitor as well. And it makes you wonder, it's like, well, are you a criminal or what happened? Like, tell me what's up, what's your story, bro? Because I don't know. So some of you guys saying this, and before you chime in, Gabriel saying this is a little too far. If I was infected with COVID-19, that is like a sign of saying I have it. It is embarrassing. Absolutely.
Brooks, I didn't hear your intro spiel earlier, but I'm just reading what's on here. So ankle monitors and COVID-19, we're going to dive into one state putting its residents under house arrest and refusing to self-isolate. You hear that initially, you chuckle a little bit, and reality sets in, you're like, whoa, what? So if I refuse to self-isolate, you're going to put an ankle monitor on me, the same ankle monitor you would put on a felon, someone who has done something criminal. That is absolutely crazy. But then you do, on the other hand, have some folks saying it is criminal to possibly have this virus, walk around with it, and not self-isolate. So you kind of see both sides. I think it's a little extreme, a lot. I'm not wearing those monitors. They're not even cute, not even a little bit. It's just not happening.
So Braylon's saying, well, if people refuse to stay home and self-isolate, it's only fair.
There's the other side.
I've seen actually a lot of comments saying kind of both of the same thing. You know, I've seen it from both sides, and I see why people say you're basically giving up your rights if you think this is okay. But on the flip side, I'll just play devil's advocate because this is probably more of the unpopular opinion right now. I mean, just think about it. If people aren't, staying on the inside of their homes, then that gives more folks the potential to spread this thing, which of course we've been trying to do, which is to stop the spread, to flatten the curve. But if people, which there are people who may be carrying it and they're just out and about, maybe even at one of the essential places like a grocery store, and then they're just spreading it, touching over the produce and everything like that. So it's kind of like, maybe you do draw that line to ensure that they understand you're supposed to be home. But Juan saying Kentucky, one of the most conservative.
I saw someone just now comment and say that you're creating a perfect storm for a revolution. That's very true. It sounds like a scary movie. All of this does, because you're going to have people fighting back for sure in a very passionate, likely angry way as well, saying there's no way, no how you're going to get me to do this. And I do see a scary movie playing out in my head. Wherever that's happening. What state, by the way, Brooks? Do we know?
This is Kentucky. Kentucky, if you can hear me. Yeah, this is Kentucky.
Oh, wait, we should have got Katie to weigh in. That's her hometown.
Yeah. So Janice said, she makes a very good point. So people will stop getting tested. That could be a thing. Because if people understand, well, now I take the chances. If I test positive, then it no longer becomes, I'm afraid that I may be, infected or I've contracted this virus. It now becomes, do I even want to know? Because if I find out, I'm not going to want to rock an ankle bracelet like a criminal or a felon. And I think that's, wow. Yeah. I'm kind of speechless on that comment, because I think that may play a very big part in that. You should rather touch something that had COVID-19 than was coughed on by a person. Ankle monitoring, it means you're under house arrest. People are just ignorant. If you stay home, use common sense.
Common sense, good old common sense. It comes in handy, doesn't it?
Yeah, but common sense isn't always so common, unfortunately. We live in a time where it's not always so common. So again, if you're just joining us, I kind of want to fill you in. Out of the state of Kentucky, if you happen to test positive for coronavirus, or if you have been exposed to it and you refuse to self-isolate, the judges can now, or have made, mandated that residents will be forced to wear GPS ankle monitors. So of course, this is very upsetting to a lot of people and a lot of you guys online, as I see a lot of you that are actually, kind of chiming in about this from both sides, and we've been sharing your comments. Do you think they're taking it a little too far by forcing people into wearing an ankle monitor? Scott, hey Scott, how you doing, buddy? He says that I think it's a great idea if people don't comply. So I think that's basically what it comes down to at the end of the day. Maybe a fine isn't enough. Maybe jail time is something, but then, maybe house arrest just allows them to track you. Hey, it's a bit much. This is just crazy.
It's sad that they feel forced to even do that. People just don't want to.
Let's pop up Paula.
Take heed to the warnings.
Paula's saying this is BS because this is so against HIPAA standards. Yep, I'd be finding me a lawyer. Now, I do wonder this. We talk about HIPAA and everything like that. Is that really violating though? Because if you're stuck on the inside, you probably won't be going out if you have the ankle monitor on anyway. So who would really see it? I'm just thinking aloud.
Yeah, Brooks, HIPAA really only applies to a hospital or a doctor divulging your
Information.
It's a Hippocratic oath that you're talking about, that the doctors take, and then HIPAA, of course, being something for hospitals, et cetera. So, that's a fine line to walk. It becomes less about law and more just about morality and ethically. Should you be doing that to people? Should you be hurting them like that? In my opinion.
Something to think about. Let's just get a couple more comments up before we move. Damian Sam, but yet Carol Baskin running around free with no ankle monitor. Have y'all watched Tiger King yet? Anybody watch Tiger King?
Everyone is talking about Tiger King, Carol. Fill me in on about that, Brooks, because you're seeing it everywhere.
Long story short, without really giving much away of the show, it's just a whole bunch of foolishness and madness and craziness. You're talking about Joe Exotic is the man. He calls himself Tiger King, and he calls himself that for a reason because he has his own little zoo. You know what I'm saying? And then there's somebody by the name of Carol Baskin who is trying to shut it down. They can't stand each other. But it looks like Carol is winning right now. But I'll leave it at that because there may be some people who didn't see it, but I've watched the entire series.
I stopped watching it. I was watching it for a while, for a weekend, several episodes, and then I moved on. I started watching the Ozarks. I said I'm not going back to that. I was very proud of myself, by the way, for walking away.
I was thinking, I was like, it's not a bad show to watch. It's not something I have to have in my life, but it wasn't.
She is so guilty, Free Joe.
Free Joe. I love how everybody has that, but yeah, so much going on. So now we know Easter is happening this Sunday, guys. Y'all excited for Easter?
Yes.
Very, very excited.
This is going to be a little crazy for me because I'm used to being in church on Easter morning. This will be my first year that I'm not in church on Easter. And I'm just like, whoa. This will probably be my first time I'm not with the family on Easter. And again, I'm like, whoa. So as you can see right there, 68% of Easter holiday spending is going to be affected, or according to a survey, will likely be affected by coronavirus because, as you know, most folks are staying on the inside, so they don't have a reason to purchase the new Easter suits and Easter dresses for the kids or anything like that. But we are asking you all online to let us know, how is your Easter going to be affected? Is it just because of church, or will you not have that family dinner with the whole family? Will it be kind of something smaller? What about the Easter egg hunts and all of that type of stuff? And I want to let's start with Lou first, because Lou has kids that are a little older. And Lou, with you having older kids, I'm sure they look forward to days like this for some of the candy and for some of the Easter Bunny. But the Easter Bunny's on lockdown right now. How's that going to work this year?
Yeah, listen, like Keith and I had the discussion on the news just yesterday about how you speak to kids about the virus, and you just are truthful with them. You say, hey, this year's going to be different, guys. The big holidays, there are the guys like us that we're in church, try to be at least every single Sunday. But then, of course, hey, no judgment. There are the Super Bowl holidays that get you in church as well. That's, of course, Easter, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Those
Mother's Day. Can't forget that one.
Everybody's in church. You know what I mean? So that's going to be the weird part for the churches too, financially, because passing the basket. Now, the online services have been wonderful. You're getting thousands more eyeballs on some of these services for even some smaller churches. So Sunday could be a huge day online, and there's a way that you can give online, so you can still be doing a whole lot of good. I know Keitha has some big plans for photo sessions as well, and I'm loving this.
Yeah, that's right. I decided that I'm going to go ahead and dress up my babies anyway. I mean, for all of us, right? We're all making some type of sacrifice when it comes to this crisis right now. But for me personally, with little ones, only 10 months old, we're missing out on a lot of firsts. They're almost one. Right. They're your first birthday party. For some of us, we just go all out. I was planning to, at this point, obviously have to scale back big time. That's hard. Easter Sunday is a really big deal for us as well. I mean, my husband's father's a pastor. We were, planning to go to church. All these years, I remember watching little kids going to on their little Easter egg hunts, and I pictured one day my babies would be able to do that. And so for them not to be able to do it on their first Easter, it hurts. It really does. But you're going to have to make do. You're going to have to make revisions to things as we are. We are still going to celebrate in our own way, scaling back, as I said, doing things a little bit differently, but it's difficult. It is.
Yeah, with your point, Keitha, like I end up doing an Easter skit or play at my church, and I've had to reach out to the kids and to the families of those kids who are so excited to do that part and act out their lines and stuff of playing all of these different parts of the story of Easter. And unfortunately, they're unable to do it. So we've kind of had to do like everybody is doing, figure out a different way for them to still be able to do their part. And it's become, hey, record your part on the cell phone and post it on this Facebook group page so that people can see it. So it's not like you learn the lines for nothing, but it's tough. Like think of the kids who are doing their Easter speeches and now they're unable to do their Easter speeches on that Sunday morning. And it's become a virtual thing where literally we're taping our stuff on a cell phone and saying, hey, post it on this Facebook page and everybody will still get to see it. But it's not the same. Like it's cool when you get all dressed up and then you come out there, and it's always fun watching the kids do their Easter speeches anyway, because some of them forget their lines. Some of them start getting up there, they cry. Like, I mean, you just have a good time. That's one thing I always look forward to on Sundays. And it's just weird because this year is just not going to be the same. So kind of unfortunate, but remember, if for whatever you believe in Easter and however you celebrate and everything like that, you can still do it from the comfort of your own home. So be sure to do that with your family. That's what it comes down to. One last thing before we've got to go. If you happen to be a first responder or a healthcare worker or professional, I want to let you know BP is giving gas discounts to you. This is good. We already know gas prices are pretty low right now, but you want to hear about this because you're getting 50 cents off per gallon from now until the end of April. So again, that'll be until April 30th for all first responders and healthcare workers. If you go to firstcoastnews.com, under the buzz, we have a tab or a story, I should say, about this, showing you how you get those discounts, because you do have to go to a website and confirm your community presence and whatnot before you can actually get that code to redeem to get that discount. But again, spread that word to all of your friends who happen to be first responders and healthcare workers. And as always here at First Coast News, we say thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for, again, being with us through this battle and this crisis that we're facing right now. We understand that the ones working on the front lines are the MVPs. They're the ones making it happen on these days. So, Lou, you were about to say something? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm saying to take the thank you even further, what I'd do if I were a first responder or a medical worker, I'm taking the discount plus I'm bringing my 250-gallon drum as well, and I'm going to have some for the rest of the year. I'm talking that's a big way to say thanks.
Listen, is it bad that I've been thinking about how in the world can I store some gas with the prices being this low? Like, where can I put some? I wish I had somewhere to store it,
Tanks. We need to go purchase some tanks. Save
Gonna stock up, man.
You guys
the rest
are
of the year.
clowns. Stop it. Wrap this thing up, Brooks.
It's time to go. Guys, we thank you so much for joining us. You've been watching Daily Dive. Remember, we're here Wednesday through Friday, weekday mornings. Wednesday through Friday at 8 o'clock every day. You'll see me, you'll see Keitha, you'll see Lou, you'll see Steve Fundero, sometimes Katie Jeffries as well. So be sure to join us and tune in, and always wake up with the GMJ crew starting at 4:30 on weekday mornings. Until next time, people, we'll see you.